Hi, I'm Chris Predick with Critical Path Training, and today we're going to be talking about InfoPath 2010 Informed Services, specifically using InfoPath to develop forms for your existing lists. All you need to do to put a custom form on a list is click the Customize Form button on your list. So navigate to your list, go to the list ribbon, click the Customize Form button. InfoPath's automatically going to open with the default form in place, and all you now need to do is modify that form, publish it, and you've created a custom list form. It's that easy. To publish the form, once you've gone into InfoPath and built it, you go to the Backstage and click the Quick Publish button. It's automatically going to publish that form back to the location you started from. If you want to use an InfoPath form for a workflow form, in SharePoint Designer, you'll be presented with a list of forms for your workflow. If you click the link, it's going to open it in InfoPath, and once again, you can modify it, click Publish, and you're done. So a lot of work has been done in making this process as seamless and as simple as possible, so anyone can do it. Another aspect of InfoPath that's really beneficial is accessing external data. Data rarely lives in a vacuum. Data needs other data to provide context for it. So for example, we could have a support tickets application, and the support tickets reference customers. Often when I look at a support ticket, I don't just want to know who the customer is, I want to know a little bit about the customer, contact information, and so on. So InfoPath has the ability of accessing external data, whether it be in lists, databases, other websites, REST services, whatever, and pulling that data in so you can use it for cross-referencing. Now I can have a support ticket application in InfoPath that uses list data for support tickets, but goes off to an external database via BCS to get the customer information. InfoPath can aggregate that information and seamlessly provide a complete view to the end user. So let's take a look at an example where we use custom InfoPath forms to simplify data entry and aggregate data from two sources and present it to the user as a single view. So in this demo, we're going to start with a customers list already created for us and a support tickets list already created, and what we want to do is add a custom form. By default, this is the form provided to us by SharePoint, but we want to customize this. We want to modify the form to provide some extra information about the customer. So what we're going to do is, now that the list is open, we're going to go to the list ribbon and click Customize Form. And what's going to happen is this is going to start InfoPath and load our form in it. And it's just a quick test. We're going to get rid of the attachments item here, and we're going to add some information up here, and we'll call it Custom Support Ticket Form. And what this will do is this will allow us to quickly publish back and verify that it works. So to publish back, I click the Quick Publish button. It's published successfully, and now when I go back and click Add New Item, we're going to see that it's using my custom form. So that's all we need to do to get a custom form out there. So now let's go and modify our form to access data from the customers list as well. So we'll go back to InfoPath, and what we need to do if we want to access external data is go to this item here in the fields called Manage Data Connections and create a second data connection. And this connection is going to receive data from a SharePoint list, specifically our customers list. We'll tell it we want to get the data from our site that we're using, and we want to get it from the customers list. And the information we want about the customer is the contact name, phone, and email. That way, whenever we select a customer, we can display the contact name and the contact's connection information. We can ask the system to store a copy of the data in our template if we'd like, and this allows us to work offline, but we're not going to do that for now. We're going to automatically retrieve the data when the form is open, and we're going to rename our data source to Customer Details. Now what we want to do is modify our form slightly. So what we're going to do is we're going to first now go to the Page Layout Templates in the Page Design tab and select the Title-Only template. We'll put a customer support ticket as our header, and now we're going to add a small table here. And this table, we're going to go into our Insert section here and select a table, and we're going to select the table with a header and 4 columns to put our customer information in. We're going to take our customer control here and we're just going to drag it up. And this is going to add a customer drop-down at the top of our table. Next, what we're going to do is start to add some information here for contact name, contact phone, and contact email. And we're going to place the information in these cells so that whenever we select a customer, we're going to see that customer's information. Let's go ahead and get rid of the last row in the table because we don't need it anymore. And then what we're going to do is merge these three cells to give us one cell. So now we have the framework we need to put in our customer information. Now we don't actually have a control. We don't want to edit the contact name. We just want to display it. So what we can do now is go back to the Home tab, and we're going to add a calculated value. And when we go and build this calculated value, what we're going to do is insert a field or group into the formula, and we're going to show the advanced view. And the difference between the advanced view and the simple view is the simple view just shows you the items that are in your list, whereas the advanced view shows you all the items. So we're going to now select our secondary data source that we retrieved from the list, and we're going to select that we want to display the contact name. The problem is we may have multiple contact names coming back, so we need to give InfoPath some information on which contact name. We're going to do that with a filter, and we're going to add a filter that specifies I want the contact name that's right next to the ID that is equal to, going back to our main data source, and select our customer. So what this is going to do is it's going to look through a list of all of our customer details, find the one with the ID that matches the currently selected customer, and then display that contact name. And now if we complete this and we click Preview, what we'll see is that as soon as we select a customer, the contact name appears. So let's do the same thing now for contact phone, using the same approach. We're going to select a field or group from the advanced view in customer details and display the customer phone, filter the data so that the ID is equal to the customer that was selected in the UI. Close all the dialogues, and then do it one more time for contact email. There we go. So now we have a form that whenever we select a customer, we're going to immediately see some information about that customer. So let's go ahead now and publish this back to the site and make sure that it works. So once again, we publish. It's quickly done. We go back, add a new item, and we can immediately see that the data adjusts on the form based on the information that's in our customers list. So now let's go back and let's modify our form slightly to be a little bit more focused towards what we're trying to do when creating a form. So first of all, I don't need customer here anymore. I can get rid of the whole customer row. And I want to only set up title to be enabled when we're editing. When we're creating a new item. And I only want these items to be available when we're editing an item. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a second view. So InfoPath allows us to have multiple views of the same data. And what we can do now is create a new view, and we'll call it our insert item. Click OK. And what we're going to do is go back to edit item, select everything, go to insert item, and paste it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to remove resolved and resolution, because there's no reason to have a resolved and resolution option when you're creating a new ticket. The problem we have is that it's still going to display the edit form on insert because because edit is defined as default. So we need to set something up that's going to choose the insert form when we're inserting. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Data tab, and we're going to go to this Form Load section. And what this does is it sets up some rules. And these are declarative rules we can define that will run whenever the form loads. So we're going to start by creating an action. And we're going to create a condition that says we only want to execute this when the ID field is blank. So in other words, before we've inserted, there's no ID, so it's blank. So when that form is blank, I want to switch views to insert item. We'll quick publish our form using the quick publish button. Go back. And now when we add a new item, we see that we have a limited form. But if I go back, or if I go back and create a new item first, save it, and now when we go back to edit, we see the full form. So we can customize our view for insert and edit. The last thing we want to do now is allow us to put an insert form on the main page. So what we're going to do here is we're now going to go back to our home page, and we're going to add an InfoPath web part by using Site Actions, Edit Page, add a web part. We're going to go down to our Office Client Applications and add an InfoPath Form web part. Open the tool pane to point it towards our list, in this case the support tickets. And we're going to select that we want to use the Insert Item view. Now we have our support ticket UI with our insert functionality available right on the UI. But what we want to do now is figure out a way to connect this web part with this list so that when we select a user in the or a company in the drop down here, it'll filter the list based on their tickets. So what we need to do that is one small change. We need to go into our form and add a rule to our drop down. So when we select a customer, we need to create an action that is going to send data to the web part, and it's going to send back the connection information as soon as that value is changed. So now what I can do is go back to my form, now that we know this form is going to send information, edit the web part, and then go through here and select connections, and we're going to send data to the support tickets web part. The data we're going to send is that we're going to get filter values, and we're going to provide the customer field, and the consumer is going to accept that as a customer field as well. So now if I stop editing, I can see that when I select this company, I get one item, but when I select another company, since we haven't added any tickets, our list is empty. So this is an example of using InfoPath to customize the UIs of our forms, build rich applications, and even send communication information between web parts to provide better filtering information.